my jar be empty so I can fill it with water. Let my water turn into wine. Let my jar be empty so I can do whatever you say, and let my water turn into wine.
It's great to be here today, bringing to you the godly view to life's issues on Impact My World. Today we will be concluding the series, I Love God, but I Don't Love This, My Neighbor. Last week during our discussion, we established that love is God, and to love, you must truly know God. So this week we will be looking at who is this my neighbor from practically all angles. And doing that today with me again are my special people. Maiwa, thank you for joining us.
Hi, my pleasure.
And Peter.
Hello, people.
And my husband, Shala.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you so much, guys, for joining me today on Impact My World. My name is Sandra DMH. Welcome to Impact My World. We will take a quick break now, and right after the break, Impact My World continues. Stay tuned. Welcome back. It's still Impact My World if you are just joining us, and the topic is I love God, but I don't love this, my neighbor, with focus on who is this, my neighbor. Now, Peter, tell me, let's look at that particular statement. I love God, but I don't love this, my neighbor. Can it actually come from a sincere heart, or it's mostly hypocritical?
Well, I believe it's a sincere statement. I love God, but I don't love this my neighbor, because it's possible that one can have a problem with someone, yet the person loves God. Now, we mostly view love for God as a one-off and an automatic thing, but it's not so. Love is a process. So I can have a problem with someone, but yet every other characteristics of love, I still, demonstrate them.
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean I don't love God. It just simply means I am at a point in that process, and that person happens to be the focus. So until I'm able to move past that, it doesn't mean I still don't love God. So for me, I just believe it's a sincere statement, and but it doesn't mean that action is right. It's fair enough for anybody to make that statement, but it doesn't mean that's the right thing to always do.
Okay, great. Maya, what do you think?
I will support Peter on that point as well. I will support Peter on that point. It's possible not to like your neighbor at that particular point in time, and then you can maybe in the future develop in your love process and all that, and then the capacity to love your neighbor is released, and then which it will be easier for you to get along with your neighbor. So it can come from a sincere heart at that particular point in time, not to love your neighbor.
Oh, wow. Shala, what do you think?
It's a legitimate statement. It's a possibility. In fact, it's the reality of most of us. At one point in life, on one point in time, we must have found ourselves
in that situation
yes. Where you love God, I love God, we all love God, we want to grow in love for God, we want to do everything for God. But there are times that we struggle with loving a particular person, and most times they come as a result of not in a result of hurt. Most times a result of hurt or what the person has done to somebody close to us.
Okay.
So at that point, it's difficult to love that person.
Yeah. Okay.
So, but it's a legitimate. Though some people could be hypocritical about it,
Yes.
some people may not have love for God. They will claim they love God, and they are not having love for God will reflect in their
They're not
being able to
loving
love
their neighbor
their
as
neighbors.
well.
Yeah.
That's actually very true. You know, this statement, I love God, but I don't love my neighbor. I think we just really have to understand the fact that love is progressive.
True.
And because it's progressive, it's not something that happens on the instant. And also, because God teaches us to love on different levels. So I might have outgrown this maybe this phase of not loving just those that I see around me or even my neighbor. God might be taking it to another level of, okay, so now I want you to have a totally different mindset about the touts you see on the road and maybe the Boko Haram that you see killing people and all of that. So God deals with us on totally different levels with regards to love, so that we also progress in this aspect of love. Great, thank you guys. You guys have actually done justice to that particular statement. Now let's look at something Shola said about this not loving my neighbor could come as a result of hurts and all of that. Now let's try to tackle the issue of how does this issue of not loving my neighbor actually come to fall? How does it happen? Where does it spring from?
Okay. If I would answer that, I think, like he has rightly said, it comes from offenses. You know, and because we are human beings, we interact every day with people, and we are bound to be offended by something, and we are even bound to offend somebody
people,
else.
Yes.
You know, so that the fact that the person doesn't want to love someone, it's possible that, okay, if someone probably cheated me on a business deal now, I would feel offended.
The natural feeling.
You understand?
Yes.
I will feel hurt, especially if the person is even a close person to me.
That's
I will
true.
feel hurt.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't mean I don't love God. Now, but I can now say, okay, this person, I can decide not to show love to this person because of what he has done.
Yes.
Some other people, it's because they don't like what someone has done to someone else that they feel the person should be good to.
Yeah.
So you see a woman who is maltreating her housemaid, and then somebody is seeing it and say, why is this person maltreating this person? And the person dislikes or hates this person or doesn't like this person for that singular action because of what the person is doing to someone else. You know, it's just like the issue of the agberos that we talk about now. I enter a bus and then I see the agbero harassing the driver who is doing his legitimate business, you know, and he's trying to extort money, you know, from the driver, and I feel so pained inside of me. In fact, sometimes I just feel like, I just wish I can just develop some superhero power now, you know, particularly mind controlling powers to just control these people, control him into the gutter, or just, you know, just very, you know, severe, hurtful things against this person. Doesn't mean I don't love God, no. But it just simply means it's a process. I'm still in a process of learning, you know, about, you know, God. So those are things that can cause that.
Another thing that can cause that is our preconceived notions about people. So you can see somebody from afar, the way a person walks, I just perceive that this person has pride. I don't want to associate with this person.
That's true.
Or you see a boy whose dressing may not conform to your preconceived notion about dressing. So you judge the person based on your own mindset or parameters for a decent way of dressing. Because of that, now, if that child wants to get close to your word, you might tend to put a stop to it and ward that person off. I don't want you anywhere near my words. I don't want you anywhere near my people. Because of a mindset that you have, because of a notion that you have about the person.
Or even if there's an opportunity to help, you don't
help.
hold it because you believe that this person,
and that person might be totally far away from what you think.
That's true. You know, Shola. Okay, Maiwa, you wanted to say something?
Yes, just to buttress Shola's point, that
Conceived
Conceived
notions.
notion.
is I think is one of the major issue.
Yes.
You see, there is no way we are not perfect, but we should always give that grace. I can't understand you in totality. It will take time for me to understand you. So I should give that that room for those things. I should give room for those. I don't expect to be perfect. You are not God.
That is actually even an aspect of love, when you actually give room for people to make those mistakes, or people to be who they are, because everybody's coming from different backgrounds.
Yes, thank you. That's what I mean.
That's true.
Just give room for those excesses here and there. We are all work in progress.
Yeah. That's very true, Maiwa. You know, another angle I would also like to look at it from is that some of us even have issues ourselves that we are dealing with. We have even character flaws that we are dealing with, and as a result of those character flaws that we do not even love in ourselves, because it's difficult for us to accept the truth about those character flaws, we try to just see it in other people. So we make it look like this person is very proud, this person is this person is that. Meanwhile, those are part of the things that we are struggling with. So why would I want to see somebody from a distance? One, I've not had an interaction with that person before. Two, the person has not done anything to offend me, which are the likely cases that would make you not want to love somebody. Yes. And immediately I conclude that this person is a very proud person. I conclude that this person is not somebody I want to associate with. Now it takes me back to when I was working at one of the places where I was working, and a very close friend of mine, we're still very close friends till today, she said when I just joined the company, she came in after me. She was like that she had heard so many things about me, like this girl is very proud, as in she doesn't greet people, she doesn't do this, she doesn't do that. And in my head, I was just coming into a new environment. Not everybody was my friend. A lot of people I had interacted, few of the people I had interacted with actually based on work. So I see those people in their other departments if I needed to, and I greet them, not necessarily greeting everybody that I see, because it was a new environment for me, and I didn't want to be so quick to start jumping and making friends. But she happened to be in one of the departments where they were like, okay, Sandra is very proud and all. So that particular notion was impressed upon her, and she began to run.
She took it and ran with it.
Yes, she took that impression and she ran with it. Not until we had an opportunity to interact. By the time we began to interact, she told me herself, she was like, my God, Sandra, that is very bad to actually listen to people, especially when you don't even know anything about the other party they are talking about. Because that was her case. She listened to people and she ran with that impression they gave to her, and she formed a very wrong notion about me. Till today we are still friends.
So many people have missed out of certain favors simply because of the preconceived notion of somebody else.
Yes.
Somebody just feels, oh, this person is not a good person.
Yes.
Don't help him. Now, the person who wants to render the help, because he has decided to listen to someone else, decides not to show that help that person. There are different ways you can even view these things. So it's really, really very key what you hear, that giving people the benefit of the doubt. Assume everybody to be good.
Yes.
Get to know them. It's a different thing if probably you are seeing from a distance the way the person is behaving, and then you are able to create a notion of the person. You understand, a correct notion. You see the actions of the person. You are checking. There are some people that they behave. That's why they say first impression matters a lot. So if people, though even first impression, one will not say you can judge people just on first impression.
Because there are a lot of
circumstances that would have brought about that. So, but the bottom line is, we must not base our judgment of people on what other people
or rather not to be too quick to judge.
So that means we should be able to